There are a lot of questions associated with LLCs, and in this video, I'm going to answer the questions that I've received the most. So what is an LLC? Well, it stands for Limited Liability Company, and it's a legal entity that you create by filing the articles of organization with your Secretary of State. And this is unlike a sole proprietorship where there's no state filing involved. But to create an LLC, you must complete the formation documents. Now, the LLC is the most common business structure. So why is that? Well, this is because they offer lots of flexibility with how they're taxed, managed, and owned. And this is much more so than any other business entity. And this is the popular entity choice for people with small businesses, as well as people with professional LLCs. Do I need an LLC to start my business? Well, you don't need one, but it's certainly better to have one in place. The reason? They offer limited liability protection when your business is sued. So if you have an LLC and that LLC is sued, that means that you will face no personal liability. And this means that your personal assets are off the table. But on the other hand, with some other business structures like a sole proprietorship, then you will face personal liability. And if you need help, there are LLC formation services like us at Corporate Direct who'd be happy to set up an LLC for you, as we are one of the best LLC services in the business. To schedule a free 15-minute consultation with one of our incorporating specialists, make sure to click the link in the description below. How is an LLC managed? Well, there are two different types of management structures with LLCs. One is member managed and the other is manager managed. But before I discuss the two, let me briefly discuss the differences between LLC members and LLC managers. LLC members have an ownership interest in the LLC business entity, and there can be one member or there can be multiple members. And LLC managers, on the other hand, are the people who manage the company. And this person can either be the manager or the managing member. Now, with that in mind, what's the difference between a member-managed LLC and a manager-managed LLC? Well, in a member-managed LLC, only the members who own an interest in the LLC can manage the LLC. So in other words, the ownership and the management are the same. And a manager-managed LLC is different. And this is because both members and non-members can manage the LLC. So in other words, the ownership and the management are different. And this management flexibility makes the LLC a unique business entity. Does an LLC need an operating agreement? Well, no, but it's certainly better to have one. Now, the LLC's operating agreement is the roadmap for how the LLC is governed. And key components of the LLC's operating agreement include who owns the LLC, who manages the LLC, how the LLC is taxed, how members of the LLC vote, and how a member can leave in the event that they want to. And having all of this spelled out up front will certainly help you down the road. In addition, having an operating agreement will protect your LLC when your business is sued. This is because having the operating agreement shows that your business is legitimate. And with it in place, you'll have much better personal liability protection. And this means that it'll be much harder for claimants to reach your personal assets. Can you be your own registered agent for your LLC? Well, yes, but it's best not to. Now, the registered agent address is the address that receives government mail for a legal entity. And this includes service of process in the event that the business is sued. And this applies to both LLCs and corporations. Some people use their home address here, but other people use commercial registered agent services like us here at Corporate Direct. Now, what's the benefit of using your home address? Well, the only benefit is that you don't have to pay the annual fees to use a commercial registered agent. But if you use your home address, there certainly are drawbacks. The first is that your address is available to the public, People can find it on the Secretary of State's website, and that exposes you to more personal liability than you need. And the second and more important issue is that you run into issues with service of process. And this is because process servers usually work between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. And the issue here is that if you work in an office, then most likely you're not going to be home when that process server comes by. And if you don't receive notice of the lawsuit, then you run the risk of having a default judgment entered against you. And that's a situation that you certainly don't want to be in. So in conclusion, it's best to have a commercial registered agent for your business structure. So how many people can own a limited liability company? Well, there must be a minimum of one LLC owner. And in this case, that LLC would be a single member LLC. However, an LLC can also have an unlimited number of owners. And in that situation, the LLC would be a multiple member LLC. And on top of this, these multi-member LLCs can have varying ownership percentages. However, if the LLC is taxed as an S-Corp, it can only have a maximum of 100 owners. Can an LLC issue stock? No, it cannot. This is because corporations are the entities that issue stock, whereas LLCs issue what we call membership interests. So if you're an LLC member, you don't own stock. But if you're the shareholder of a corporation, then you do. How is an LLC taxed? Well, for federal tax purposes, LLCs have the most favorable tax treatment. First, they can be taxed as C Corps, where they face the double taxation. Second, they can be taxed as S Corps, and this is where the LLC makes the S Corporation election. And this is beneficial because you can use it to minimize your self-employment taxes, but definitely double check with a CPA. Third, LLCs can be taxed as partnerships, which is a form of pass-through taxation. And this happens with multi-member LLCs. And this is where all the business income passes on to you and your business partner's tax returns. And lastly, LLCs can be taxed as disregarded entities if they're single-member LLCs. And if you have a single-member LLC, then all the business income passes on to your personal tax returns. How long does it take to form an LLC? Well, this ultimately varies by state. In good states like Nevada and Wyoming, LLCs can be formed on the same day that you apply for one. But in other states, it can take up to 2 weeks, depending on the state that you form it in. And in some of these states, you can apply for expedited processing. Now, this may cost up to $400, and it may shorten the formation to a few days, but that still may not be as quick as you want it to be. And this is why, as a rule of thumb, it's important to reach out to an LLC formation service 1 month before you want to form the LLC. So what are the benefits of forming an LLC? Well, first of all, they provide limited liability protection for your business and your personal assets. Second, they provide flexibility in management and ownership structures. And this is why the LLC is the most preferred business entity. The third are the tax advantages, and the reason being is that the LLC's tax treatment is very flexible. And this gives you the ability to save money on business income, depending on how the LLC is taxed. What are common limited liability company issues that you've seen? Well, the first is skipping the steps of both reaching out to an attorney and a tax professional. The attorney will help with your documentation, as well as possibly give legal advice if you've entered into an attorney-client relationship. And the CPA will help you determine how your LLC is taxed, and they may also file your taxes for you. The second issue that I've seen is maintaining compliance with state laws. And this may involve filing your annual reports and paying your state annual filing fees. And if you don't do that, your LLC could face trouble. If you don't pay, you may be subject to reinstatement fees, as well as even personal liability if your LLC is sued. So it's important to make sure that you're staying up to date with all of these filings. And the third issue I've seen is not having a separate business bank account, separate and apart from your personal bank account. It's important to have business accounts for both your business finances and your business debts. And this is different from your personal account that handles your personal finances and your personal debts. And if you have a separate business bank account and your LLC is sued, then your personal assets will be off the table. So in conclusion, a limited liability company or LLC is both a popular and flexible business entity. But if you want to properly form an LLC, it's important to seek professional advice. And we here at Corporate Direct would be happy to help you out. Make sure to click the link in the description below to schedule a free 15-minute consultation with us. I also have a new book called The 5 Tricks to Teach Your Kids About Money. You can download the book for free by clicking the link in the description below. If you're looking to start a business, you can schedule a free 15-minute consultation with us at Corporate Direct by also clicking the link in the description below. And as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and turn on that notification bell. And I should warn you, the contents of this video are not legal advice and no attorney-client relationship has been formed.